A Japanese anime film beat Hollywood at the global box office. In 2025, worldwide, it earned 1.18 trillion yen, the highest of any Japanese film ever made. But here is what almost no one outside Japan noticed. The film's overseas box office was nearly twice its Japanese box office. This has never happened before in the history of Japanese cinema. As a Japanese TV writer for 30 years, I know why this happened. And it is not what most Western fans think. 5 stories almost no one knows. First, the basics. Demon Slayer began as a manga written by Koyoharu Gotouge, serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump from 2016 to 2020. 23 volumes. Over 220 million copies sold worldwide. The anime was produced by ufotable, directed by Haruo Sotozaki. The first TV season aired in 2019. The first film, Mugen Train, released in 2020, became the highest-grossing film in Japanese history. Then in 2025, the sequel film Infinity Castle Chapter 1 surpassed even Mugen Train, becoming the first Japanese film ever to exceed 1 trillion yen worldwide. Now the 5 things. 1. The studio that made Demon Slayer ufotable was a small, independent animation studio based in Tokushima, Japan. Not Tokyo. Tokushima. Tokushima is a rural prefecture on Japan's smallest main island, Shikoku. Population under 700,000. Nothing about Tokushima suggests global anime empire. ufotable was founded in 2000 as a small group of animators who left larger Tokyo studios to try independent work. For their first 15 years, they produced beautiful but modest projects. Then, in 2019, they took on Demon Slayer, and they made every frame with the visual quality of a feature film. This was not a Hollywood-scale production company. This was essentially a specialty, craftsman studio from the Japanese countryside that decided to bring feature film quality to every single episode of a TV anime. The world we now know, Demon Slayer as a global phenomenon, came from that single decision. 2. The original creator of Demon Slayer, Koyoharu Gotouge, is completely anonymous. Even in Japan, most manga creators, when they hit a major success, become public figures. They give interviews. They appear at events. Gotouge does none of this. Their real name is not public. Their age is not public. Their gender is not fully confirmed. There is a self-portrait Gotouge draws a small crocodile wearing glasses. That is publicly the entire representation of who this person is. The biggest cultural export in Japanese history was created by someone almost no one has ever seen. This is not shyness. It is a deliberate choice in a culture that respects the choice. Gotouge asked to remain private. Japan's largest publisher, Shueisha, honored that request. There is something deeply Japanese about this. The work matters more than the personality behind it. 3. The overseas box office of Infinity Castle Chapter 1 exceeded the Japanese box office. Unprecedented. In 2025, Infinity Castle Chapter 1 made 402 billion yen inside Japan and 777 billion yen outside Japan. Almost every other major Japanese film in history, including Miyazaki's Spirited Away, including the previous Demon Slayer film, earned most of their money in Japan. This time, the world spent nearly twice as much on the film as Japan did. The film was released in 157 countries. It won the #1 spot in North American box offices for 2 consecutive weeks, for the first time in the history of Japanese cinema. This was not just a Japanese film that happened to travel. This was, effectively, a global film that happened to be made in Japan. 4. The music that made you cry was created by Yuki Kajiura and Go Shina working together. Yuki Kajiura is one of the most beloved anime composers of the past 20 years. Her sound, ethereal choral vocals, powerful orchestration has defined Sword Art Online, Puella Magi Madoka Magica, and many others. For Demon Slayer, she was joined by composer Go Shina. Together, Kajiura and Shiina created the music for the Demon Slayer TV series and films. The theme song of Mugen Train, Homura by Lisa, sold over 1 million copies in Japan and became one of the most emotionally impactful songs in anime history. The theme songs of Infinity Castle. Chapter 1. Lisa's Shine in the Cruel Night and Aimer's The World Where the Sun Does Not Rise were commissioned to 2 of Japan's most important female vocalists of this era. The soundtrack of Demon Slayer is not just background music. It is one of the reasons audiences around the world cry watching this show. 5. Demon Slayer proved something the Japanese film industry had never believed possible. Before Demon Slayer, the standard belief in Japan was no Japanese anime film can earn 400 billion yen worldwide. That number was a ceiling. Mugen Train broke that ceiling in 2020. Infinity Castle. Chapter 1 doubled it in 2025. And this changed how Japan's animation industry thinks about its work. Before Demon Slayer, animation studios often accepted small budgets, worked long hours, and hoped for domestic hits. After Demon Slayer, the industry saw proof that a Japanese anime film could compete with, and exceed, Hollywood in the global box office. This has consequences beyond one franchise. It changes what Japanese anime studios believe about themselves. Demon Slayer is not just a hit, it is a permission slip for the entire Japanese animation industry to try to be bigger than they ever imagined. So why should you watch Demon Slayer? Because everything about it, the studio from rural Japan, the anonymous creator, the global box office triumph, the music by legendary composers, and the shift it caused in Japan's entire animation business, is proof of one thing. Japan's greatest cultural exports do not come from where you expect. They come from small studios, private artists, and quiet decisions to make something beautiful over and over until the world notices. After 30 years inside Japanese television, this is what I see when I watch Demon Slayer. If you have not seen it now, you know what to look for. If there is another Japanese anime you'd like me to break down next, comment below. See you next time. This was Keizo TV. Please subscribe.